Good morning everyone. Welcome to all fours e-learning classes. This is Zoology subject. Topic Chemical Control and Coordination. Session number 12. The subtopic we are going to discuss is gastrointestinal tract hormones. Gastrointestinal tract and the other organs and their hormonal secretions and their function is the topic we require to discuss, and also the hormonal action. So gastrointestinal tract. The gastrointestinal tract is of the endodermal in origin and also secretes hormones. The list of the hormones from gastrointestinal tract, that is the mucosa of the stomach, that is the epithelium lining the mucosa layer, the innermost layer of the gut. Gut is with the histology of the gut. There we discussed the serosa, muscular layer, submucosa, mucosa. The mucosa is the innermost layer which secretes the hormones. In the case of the stomach as well as in the intestine. The list of the gastrointestinal tract hormone is as follows. That is none other than from the stomach, it is the gastrin. Gastrin from the stomach. Gastrin from stomach. And the enterogastrin. The remaining are all secreted from the intestine itself. Intestine. From intestine, the hormones, the list of the hormones secreted from intestine is as follows. That is, it is the enterogastrin, enterogastrone, which is also said to be the GIP, gastroinhibitory, gastric inhibitory peptide hormone. And the third one is secretin. Next, cholecystokinin, which is also said to be the pancreozymin. Next, and the next one includes cholecystokinin or pancreozymin. Next, the diacrinin. Next, villicrinin. Next, enterocrinin. Next, vasoactive intestinal peptide hormone. Next, the somatostatin and pancreatic polypeptide hormone. So this is the list of the hormones from gastrointestinal tract. Gastrointestinal tract is of endodermal in origin, and the list of the hormones includes from gaster. The other name for the stomach is the gaster, stomach and intestine. That's what it is, a gastrointestinal tract hormone. Gastrin is the hormone secreted from the mucosa of the stomach. Particularly, we discussed that earlier. This topic we have seen under the digestive system, that is the pyloric part of the stomach, where the G cell secretes the gastrin from the gastric mucosa, and this is the hormone responsible for it stimulates the secretion of the gastric juice, that is HCl and casein intrinsic factor, as well as the pepsinogen, or the pepsinogen is an enzyme. Pepsinogen and HCl, casein intrinsic factor, they are all what component, even mucus, even the causal intrinsic factor are all part of the gastric juice. So gastrin stimulate the gastric mucosa to secrete HCl pepsinogen. Next, intestine. From intestine, the enterogastrone, which is also named to be the gastric inhibitory peptide hormone. This is the hormone which is secreted from the mucosa of duodenum, and it inhibits the secretion of the gastric juice. That's the reason why gastrin and enterogastrone are said to be the antagonistic. Generally, in the intestinal region, acidic condition is not required. That is, alkaline condition in the intestinal region activate the function of the enzymes, particularly lipase. Lipase act under alkaline condition. That's the reason, in order to neutralize the acidic condition, enterogastrone released and it inhibits the secretion of the gastric juice. That's the reason enterogastrone, gastrin are antagonistic. Next, secretin. Secretin is a hormone secreted from the mucosa of the duodenum, and this is stimulating. This is the hormone. The first hormone to be detected is none other than secretin, and this is the hormone for the secretion of the water and bicarbonates from the pancreatic gland. And cholecystokinin, chol in the sense bile, cyst nothing but bladder, cholecystokinin, kinin means remove, means releasing. So in terms of the meaning also the same, we do get the functional role of the CCK. Chol refers to bile. Next, cyst refer to bladder, and the kinin refers to remove or release. So this is the hormone. Cholecystokinin is a hormone secreted from intestinal, that is duodenal mucosa, and this is the hormone which constricts the gallbladder and relaxes the sphincter of Hodge, so releases the bile. That's what cholecystokinin is all about. Next, pancreozymin. Pancreozymin in the sense it is also, both the terms are given, it is acting on the secretion of the bile and the pancreatic juice. Another function of it is to stimulate the pancreas to secrete the pancreatic juice. That's the reason why it got the name pancreozymin, stimulating the contraction of the gallbladder to secrete the bile and relaxation of the sphincter of the Hodge, so releasing the bile into the duodenum. At the same time, stimulates the pancreas to secrete pancreatic juice. That is the role played by CCK, pancreozymin. Deocrinin is secreted from the duodenum, and this stimulates the duodenal gland or Brunner's gland. Brunner's gland or the duodenal glands are stimulated by deocrinin and secretes the juice from it, that is the mucus. And villicrinin is also secreted from the intestinal mucosa, and they stimulate the movement of villi. This stimulates the movement of villi, thereby increase the surface area of absorption. Next, enterocrinin. Enterocrinin also secreted all along the length of the mucosa of the intestine, and this stimulates the saccus entericus. Saccus entericus is nothing but the intestinal juice. Saccus entericus is the another name for the intestinal juice. So secretion of the intestinal juice is by enterocrinin. Vasoactive intestinal peptide hormone secreted from the intestine mucosa, and this is the hormone which dilates the blood vessels of the intestine as well as vaso refer to the blood vessel, dilate the blood vessels of the intestine and also inhibit the gastric movement such that inhibit the gastric juice. That is the role of vasoactive intestinal peptide hormone. Somatostatin. Somatostatin is with the three sources in secretion. That is one from the hypothalamus, that is a growth hormone, inhibitory hormone which inhibit the secretion of the growth hormone. However, this is just the sources I am explaining. Second source is the argentifin cells of the stomach and intestine. Also, third from the delta cells of the alpha, beta, delta F cells. Delta cells of the pancreas secretes the somatostatin. In all these instances, the argentifin cells of the gastric and the intestinal region, it inhibits the secretion of the gastric juice, gastrointestinal juices. Next, in the case of the pancreas, islets of longer horns of the delta cells from where the somatostatin is secreted, which inhibit the secretion of the insulin and glucagon. Next, pancreatic polypeptide. Pancreatic polypeptide is what secreted from the F cells of the pancreas. Islets of longer horns is with alpha insulin. Alpha secretes the glucagon, beta insulin, delta somatostatin, and the F cell secretes pancreatic polypeptide which inhibit the secretion of the pancreatic juice. This is how gastrointestinal tract hormone involve the gastrin, enterogastrone, secretin, cholecystokinin, pancreozymin, diokinin, and villicrinin, enterocrinin, vasoactive intestinal peptide, somatostatin, and pancreatic polypeptide. Next, move on to the other organs. The other organs also secreting the hormones, that is none other than, we do discuss, it includes the placenta. Next, it also includes the liver. Next, heart. Next, it also includes the kidney. This is the list of the other endocrinal gland. However, we discussed the gastrointestinal tract. That is also the other to secrete other temporarily, or else other one showing the secretion of the property of the secretion of the hormones. Now, let's see regarding the placenta. Placenta is an intimately associated structure between the fetus and womb. The intimately associated structure between the fetus and womb is the placenta. From placenta, the list of the hormone released are human chorionic gonadotropin, human HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin. Next, progesterone. Next, estrogen. Next, the thyrotropin. Next, relaxin. Next, somatomamotropin. These are the list of the hormones. Human chorionic gonadotropin. Human chorionic gonadotropin is secreted from placenta. placenta stimulate the maintains the corpus luteum to secrete the human chorionic gonadotropin. Human chorionic gonadotropin secreted from the placenta, such that this human chorionic gonadotropin maintains the corpus luteum for the secretion of the progesterone. Next, one point to remember: when the corpus luteum, generally the after ovulation, that is when Graafian follicle, that is mature follicle, is formed, the secondary oocytic staged ovum released from the mature follicle, which is ovulation. The Graafian follicle, that is remnant of the ovulation. After the ovulation, the follicles remain what transformed to form yellow color structure, name it to be the corpus luteum. This corpus luteum have a lifespan of 14 days. If fertilization takes place, this corpus luteum continue to be sustained till up to the 4 months. Later it is what continued by means of the placenta, by releasing the hormones. The corpus luteum, which is acting as a endocrine structure, releasing the progesterone. The progesterone which is secreted from corpus luteum, which is maintained by human chorionic gonadotropin during the pregnancy, inhibit the uterine contractions. What do you mean by that? After fertilization, the zygote formed reach the uterus, and it is become integral part of it. That is, it entered into the uterine wall and undergo implantation process. In the uterus, the implantation occurs. So, if the uterine muscles undergo contraction, then the pregnancy does not sustain. So, in order to sustain the pregnancy, the uterine muscles or contractions are prevented by progesterone. Thereby, it helps in the pregnancy. Progesterone. Next, estrogen. Estrogen maintains the feminine features, uterus and mammary glands. Thyrotropin. Next, relaxin. Relaxin is a thyrotropin for basal metabolic activities. Relaxin is the hormone during the childbirth. The pubic symphysis ligaments are relaxed by means of the relaxin, a hormone released from the placenta. That is, the uterine contractions are faster and rapid towards the childbirth. Just before the childbirth, the relaxin softens or softens the ligaments, such that the cervix, the birth canal, widens and childbirth takes place. That's the reason why relaxin relaxes the pelvic ligament, and thereby the cervix widens and childbirth takes place. That is what relaxin. Next, somatotropin, which is also released from placenta. And one point to remember: the human chorionic gonadotropin, which is the hormone secreted from placenta, is detected in the urine of a pregnant woman, such that urine test made positive if the human chorionic gonadotropins are found. That is, it is a pregnancy indication. Indication of the pregnancy is can be done by observing the urine analysis. If human chorionic gonadotropins are found, the woman found to be, supposed to be, confirmed to be the pregnant. So this is the detail regarding the placenta. Next is the liver. Liver is, however, Liver is the largest exocrine gland. Here we are discussing the hormones released from the other structures. Temporarily, their role in releasing the hormones. Liver is the one which synthesizes the angiotensinogen, and this angiotensinogen, by means of renin, it is converted into angiotensin 1 and that into angiotensin 2, which in turns what act upon the adrenal cortex, stimulate the secretion of the aldosterone. So that is how here angiotensinogen is secreted from the liver. Next, heart. Heart is with the cardiomyocytes. These cardiomyocytes of the heart are secreting a factor named to be the atrial natriuretic factor or atrial natriuretic peptide hormone. We have discussed that ANF or ANP is atrial natriuretic peptide or factor counterchecks the ROS, renin angiotensin aldosterone system. Generally, when glomerular filtration rate or blood pressure decreases, that is detected by juxtaglomerular cells, to which the macula densa give the signal. The juxtaglomerular cells secretes the renin. Renin converts the angiotensinogen secreted from the liver into angiotensin 1. Renin, R-E-N-I-N, not R-E-N-N-I-N. It is converted into angiotensin 1, and that is into angiotensin 2, which stimulate the aldosterone of the adrenal cortex. So this aldosterone stimulate absorption of sodium chloride, active absorption of sodium chloride followed by passive absorption of water. Thereby blood volume increase, blood pressure increases. If this is continued from heart cardiomyocyte, ANF or ANP is secreted. This what dilates the blood vessel. One point. And also it inhibits the secretion of the renin. Thereby the aldosterone secretion, absorption of sodium and the water absorption stopped, ceased. This is how the ANF or ANP counterchecks the antagonistic or it is opposing the ROS mechanism. So ANF decreases the glomerular filtration rate. That's what it is countercheck to the ROS. Next, the kidney is also acting as the endocrine gland. In what way? That is, it is all what we are discussing under the subtopic called other organs related to the secretion of the hormones. So in this connection, kidney, we know very well that when a person is of anemic condition, kidney is stimulated and kidney secretes a hormone named to be the erythropoietin. Erythropoietin is secreted from the kidney. Erythropoietin. When the anemic conditions are, this is a protective mechanism of the body. So kidney stimulate and we know very well that is juxtaglomerular cells are present which secretes the erythropoietin. This erythropoietin is a hormone. Erythropoietin is a hormone stimulate the erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis. What do you mean by erythropoiesis? Erythropoiesis in the sense the production of the RBC, maturation of the RBC is named to be the erythropoiesis. That is, this erythropoietin stimulate the stem cells of the blood. That is the proerythroblast. If we go to the details of the stem cells, there are undifferentiated cells named to be the proerythroblast. The erythroblast cells are what stimulated by erythropoietin. Proerythroblast cells are stimulated to form erythroblast. Erythroblast cells stimulated to form reticulocytes, and reticulocytes are what forms the mature RBC. A point to remember that in this RBC production up to the immature stage called reticulocytes, the nucleus is present. But once the RBC is matured, the nucleus disappear. That's the reason why among the mammal, the RBC is biconcave and enucleated. So this is how the erythropoiesis is stimulated by erythropoietin secreted from the kidney. By this we come to know a knowledge of erythropoiesis. If I ask you one question, erythropoiesis is stimulated by, come on, answer. That is none other than, we see earlier we have seen, that is the cortisol is responsible for erythropoiesis, thyroxine is responsible for erythropoiesis, and also the erythropoietin. So the list of the hormone that stimulate the erythropoiesis is none other than thyroxine, cortisol and erythropoietin. And if we see vitamins, it is none other than the folic acid and the cyanocobalamin also play a role in erythropoiesis. This is the summary describing the hormones that from placenta. The list of the hormones are human chorionic gonadotropin, progesterone, estrogen, thyrotropin and relaxin, somatomamotropin. It is having anti-insulin effect. Somatomamotropin. Earlier it is named to be the lacto-placental hormone, and the presence of the HCG is in the urine is determining the a woman pregnancy. That is, it is of a pregnancy deciding factor, hormone HCG in the urine. And from a liver angiotensin, from heart it is ANF and ANP, kidney erythropoietin. Thank you.